energy. What you feel from Atlanta.
They do have some of that hinge energy, as they say, some of the hinge energy. Is Atlanta looking like they're going to be rolling out on the May Reaper? Pretty standard what we're seeing. It's phase 2, doing much the same. A10, we criticized him not too long ago for playing Reaper. And he says, hey, I was prepared for the new meta, the Reaper meta.
He was ahead of the game.
He was ahead of the curve.
Is what we found out here, because now it's all Reaper and there's no jokes to be found. But of course, that's what happens. You go from esoteric pick to main pick, as long as you continue having success with it. Although A10 getting chunked early on here. Both teams trying out poke. Astro looking for Boops off the side. He's getting a decent spot right now. Saucy gets caught! Saucy down. Hawk though, returning fire, 5-on-5. Both sides. Free holding here to the back. Good covering fire. Both teams move the fight over to the point. Either team with a huge edge just yet. Uh-oh. That's looking bad for Salt Shaker. Eats a lot of damage away from the shield. Plus, out on both sides. Going to be going back up the Orisa. This is a very close early fight.
It is. It's just sort of the battle of is the May giving you more utility than not having the Lucio, because Atlanta, they have all that extra heals. Supercharger invested, gonna get blocked off for a bit with the wall, and A10 without Hawk, without the damage mitigation. Phase 2 are looking at a pretty good spot to still take this point.
Atlanta, though, they're getting some respawn. Sugar Freeze built up Death Blossom on Swan, same with A10. But Atlanta, they decide they're gonna retreat a little bit. They didn't like the way that was going. And it's phase 2, striking first.
Phase 2 winning the first fight, taking the first cap, and you see Salt Shaker now gonna return that favor, gonna put out the Supercharger. Atlanta's gonna try to dodge around it, not looking to take the fight right now, just waiting for the Supercharger to sort of run its course.
Wall and Blizzard coming on out, both teams trying out Coalescences, the energy beams all around. But the Blizzard, the defining factor, Sugar Free, nowhere to go. A10 on the cleanup. This is big, this is unexpected also. Phase 2, shocking Atlanta a little bit here in the beginning.
And the Blizzard not finding anything saucy, hoping to get some value while Nishik was dropping the Coalescence, but they don't force any of the cooldowns. Atlanta have not done a good job so far of forcing the cooldowns from Phase 2 and then taking the engage. Phase 2 doing a lot better job. You see with Sock's counter Blizzard that they had already used a lot of Atlanta's cooldowns, most notably Sugar's Wraith. And he couldn't escape all that freeze. So Phase 2 definitely looking like the better team right now.
Atlanta looking for a way back in. Sugar Free still Death Blossom race in with A10. Both Reapers are going on to it. Sugar Free gonna spin the win at first. Goes on forward, takes down his counterpart. A10 look for the quick assassination. Sugar Free having none of it. DPS main at heart, finally finding a little bit of room here. Atlanta, they're gonna get their first control, but that's 76% to phase 2.
Phase 2 having to re-enter the point now. They're going to have to walk it out both the tank ults for Atlanta Academy. But look at the bank. Look at the time bank. Not just the control bank, but the actual ult bank for Phase 2. They're 50% to Blizzard. They have plenty of their other ults coming up here. I would actually expect them to take a very aggressive fight. Just force the Supercharger out. Really, just force the Supercharger out of a Gator, and you're already in a great position for the following fight, even if you lose it.
Mika opening up here. Bomb to the back. Steals the Supercharger. The other way. A10 went for the Death Blossom in the back, just get dealt with.
Gets pulled off the map.
Yeah,
He gets yoinked off the map.
Yeah, well, you know, you might be looking like a helicopter, but believe it or not, you can't fly. Sugar Free finishing off the rest. And Atlanta starting to get a little bit more momentum.
But now, this is the fight for Phase 2. I think this is the fight that they would like to be able to win. Because they take another dry fight, they give Atlanta Academy the chance to build up the rest of their ults here again, especially their tank ults. But they have Blizzard, they have the beat, they have a Supercharger. They should know Saucy has that Blizzard of their own, but they're just going to look forward to use the Supercharger to force those cooldowns early, and then just run away. Just try to kite or eat Saucy's Blizzard.
See the Supercharger down early from Phase 2, using it. Again, edge in the poke battle. They drop the beat, so they're full committing. They're going to invite Atlanta to the party with the Hall. Socks moving on in.
No Blizzard for Saucy. No Blizzard.
Yeah, Saucy was really getting the Blizzard. Saucy has had a rough round here so far. A10 continuing to punish. Phase 2. Well on their way to taking the point here. A10 on the cleanup. Sugar Free oddly investing the Death Blossom there. I think it was far gone.
Phase 2 getting the reflip there. They did exactly what they needed to do. They used the supercharger to force those cooldowns early, to trap Saucy in a position where he really didn't want to invest the Blizzard there because he was afraid he was going to get eaten or wouldn't get max value. So he's held on to it for the final fight here, because this is going to be pretty much final fight, though there will be a chance for the team that loses to come back in again, but we also have to walk back into the team that's in a very good position.
Comes on to Saucy. Saucy's been having really tough engages all round long. Now, Supercharger's setting things up. And Saucy really charging forward for the Blizzard. But phase 2, they're just going to rotate around it over into the back. However, Eva down. Atlanta still able to get the better on the rotation. Even with the Blizzard not doing as much as Astro. May off over the side. A10 tries to save the death loss on the other side, but likely not going to be enough. Fighting Sugar Free. They're up, and actually Nishik, Coalescence, it's enough. A10 support. Phase 2, still going to try and grip this one through. It's going to be in soon, but A10 is down. And Atlanta looking to finish this out.
Atlanta, they've come back to the point. See Saucy back on the Doofus here, just trying to contest. Salt Shaker is going to have the Supercharger very soon, but all of phase 2 are getting cleaned up. It is going to be the first round going the way of Atlanta Academy. And I have to say, Saucy, again, not finding a lot of success on the May. That last fight when he drops the Blizzard, they didn't force any of the cooldowns early. They hadn't really used any of them besides the wall for Sox. And they just exit. They all use their escape cooldowns to leave the Blizzard. It's really Hawk noticing that the bomb is out. And he just pushes the D.Va off the map while maybe D.Va forms. So that was really just a good read of the Hawk to finding Pika early, finding his opening picks early, Hawk and Astro, rather than it was the Blizzard.
This is going to be a long series for Atlanta if Saucy continues to struggle the way that he has here so far, because that was a very notable weak point, is that Atlanta, even though they were able to win, in no small part due to the contributions of Astro and Gator in particular, if you're not getting high value off the May, or in this case the McCree, just hard to find good avenues of victory, but the McCree might be a good change of scenery here.
So Atlanta going to play a very similar comp that we saw Envy play on this map, where they're going to play slow, rotate around the point, just trade out damage, but phase 2, they're doing much the same, but they have a Batiste, so in fact they're even better at not only trading damage, but they're going to get that Ant Matrix so early to break the shields.
Mortality Field up to phase 2 right now. No, he's about to fade. A10 under heavy pressure. And Gator finishes it off! Gator just with that last little bit of touch from Orisa. Early Ant Matrix is going to be built, but the problem is phase 2, down 1. Atlanta can just give a little bit of time. They don't have to give up the point. Wait for the Matrix to fade and still move on in when they have an advantage.
I have to say, I'm questioning phase 2 running the double main support here. They're running Lucio and Batiste, so sure, they're fast, they can rotate, but they really don't have a lot of the extra utility, a lot of extra value from that the other flex supports are going to give compared to the Lucio.
Maybe double dragons here on the field. Sox dragon. Bring a little bit deeper. Gets Kodak. Sugar Free, though, off in the flank. Takes down his counterpart. Sugar Free, so much room. A quick double. He's not done yet. Making a triple. McCree just walks through the door. An arrow to the gut. Goodbye.
Salt Shaker actually pulling off both Gator and Saucy there at the end. Doesn't really matter because the point has been flipped for Atlanta. Sugar Free getting those crucial frags. And I guess phase 2 are going to commit to this comp again. They have beat now, so they can take an aggressive fight. The Astro used the beat, does not have it. And Atlanta really overall relatively drained at the ult bank.
That was a long early fight too. By first fight standards, that was an eternity.
I mean, there's no Zin, there's no like big ult for either of the sides just yet. They don't have left Death Loss, they don't have Blizzard.
Electric Cowboy on the field here from A10. Electric Cowboy with the field. You want to talk about just a cannon in his hands. Takes on the D.Va with the Deadeye. The buff's going to be wearing off here, but phase 2, they got the cap. Just from all that pressure that you had to respect. Sox falling through. Flanking Dragon. Immortality Field. Oh, he walked out of it. He walked out of the Immortality Field. Ends up falling. Sugar Free gets the pick off in Atlanta. Just going to start trying to chip away at this here sooner rather than later.
They do get the flip during this time. Phase 2, their strategy worked. They use all that damage to get an early pick. Pika slept on the flank. The Nano, Hanzo, bye-bye. Getting anti to Pika down. Sugar Free is unleashed.
He's doing it once more. Sugar Free. Just a reminder, yeah, he was stuck on Brigida jail for a while, but he never forgot his skills. Now that he's been liberated, back the other way. Atlanta going to retake, and this is why, relative to a lot of other teams, I'm really worried about Atlanta coming in the 2-2-2 because it's easy to forget, but Sugar Free is a monster.
Now, don't speak too soon yet, because that was a close first round. It's still very, very much anyone's game so far here on the second for well. But now when you look at phase 2 and they enter this fight, they don't have really any ult besides the Dragon. They have to walk into a Dragon of Atlanta's. They have to walk into double tank ult. They have to survive this early push. They see the Immortality Field used so early, but now Sugar Free has a free Dragon, and they're able to hold Dragon it.
Might not even need the Dragon. Came one arrow away from just dispatching a reset outright. Sees the flank McCree. A10 able to get Astro. Now Dragon on one side, covers his flank.
Eden.
Looks McCree. And oh yeah, Dragon. Eden's in the middle. So you think it's out. Sugar Free still under pressure. Look in the left side, look in the front. And Atlanta giving up a bit of space here as Sugar Free down to 20 HP.
Left actually going to find that frag there into Saucy. A10 has been such a menace so far. Sure, phase 2, they're surviving. You see Pika eat the Dragon as well. But A10 was sitting in main, playing the flank. You see him get an early pick and continues to find picks from then on out. A10 on the McCree has been a constant threat here for Atlanta.
And I mean, A10 for phase 2, I mean, what I would say for him is that he's always been one of their impact players. Even when phase 2 wasn't doing too well, our constant commentary was, yeah, but A10's doing pretty good. And that hasn't changed.
That has not changed. A10 still performing reasonably well. Atlanta look like they're making some swaps. We're going to put Saucy on the Sombra now. Sombra into the double main support and into the McCree Hanzo. I find pretty interested in that range. And already Gator, though, on the Hammond as well.
Well, they messed the beat really early. And it gets a beat out in phase 2, so I guess it's not really a waste. But you look at A10. For the pickoff. Goes the other way, gets the dink on Tiana, but the pressure from Atlanta's dive a little bit too much. Gator and Hawk just getting into the back, plenty of damage applied, and Atlanta gonna get the retake, which gives phase 2 their final opportunity, and the map is at stake.
I definitely like Gator swapping to the Hammond here, already using the mines just to lock off the main entrance, because with phase 2 not running any flex supports, not running a Mei, not running a Reaper, it's really tough to actually lock down Gator on this Hammond. He's free to zone about and run around to the back line here. It's honestly already 70% to the EMP. In phase 2, they made some swaps on the Trace and Sombra themselves.
Amp takes down phase 2, no time to waste. Moving over to Punt, they lose the Tracer, Sugar Free. Again, the arrow to the head, finding its mark. And the pressure moving forward, Sugar Free can't be stopped, picks up 2. Not done, oh, not done yet, but the damage is done. A reset into the well. Astro there on the follow through, and it's gonna be Atlanta taking map 1.
And that was close though. I think we were looking at this and we were worried like, oh man, we don't want to see a blowout necessarily. But phase 2 have been proving that they're solid. They're playing around a star carry player like A10. Honestly, A10 has shown that potential and playing very well.
I think the problem that you have, though, to an extent, is that for Atlanta, you're dealing with a team that's almost entirely star players. And sure, it's not the most scientific of metrics, but you look at things like, who am I seeing contributions from regularly? You look at things like the kill feed. Astro and Gator consistently coming in with environmental pickoffs when the team needs them most. And you can't underrate that impact where you want to talk about a standout player in Contenders where he's also signed the Overwatch League for good reason. Astro is probably the most fearsome Lucio in all of NA Contenders. Because not only does he have great game sense, but he's also just a threat for eliminations in the way that really no other Lucio is.
Atlanta is a very well-rounded squad. They've only increased the power as well with unleashing Sugar Free and Saucy onto their original roles. And it's going to be the first map, though, for Atlanta. Remember, this is loser's pick, so it's phase 2 that picks the next map here, the first 3. We'll have to see what they want to bring out. And I like the flexibility, once again, that Atlanta's bringing here. I like the flexibility they show. I think it was an incredibly good read for Gator, actually. They go to Hammond, where if phase 2 want to play very low with very slow with the double main support, Hammond is sort of unstoppable because there's not a Mei, there's not a Sombra, there's nothing to sleep him or bash him or anything. He's sort of just free to roll about the map.
This here, Sugar Free on the flank, so just dirty one pickoff after the other, and A10 just goes, I'm gonna leap through this doorway, and Sugar Free goes, I got something waiting for you if you do.
Sarge is good, ready for both squads to get into our second map. We still have quite a lot of series left to go. And phase 2 have shown so far they can put up a fight. It is not going to be the end of them just yet. We're not looking like a potential just shutout type of situation. Phase 2 are not going to go down easily. And another great thing about this is that it's, once again, Academy versus unsigned team. I like, there's really just a lot of unsigned talent, a lot of really unorged players in a lot of ways in NA Contenders. Second win was one we just saw. Phase 2, yet another.
Phase 2, another team that's gone through plenty of name changes over time. We started out it was back our first season cast together, where that was back in the Kungarna days. The revamped Kungarna.
The revamped Kungarna, yes.
Now, not the old Kungarna, not the Kungarna
Revamped.
that would be the progenitor of original Shock, but old Kungarna or new Kungarna.
It was just Kungarna 2.0 in a way. Kungarna 2.0. And it's going to be Atlanta on this defense first. Look like they're rolling out with a Batiste Ana, which I think is a pretty balanced comp in terms of, like, you see a lot of teams previously in the 3-3 meta where you see Ana being used a lot. And Ana just always gives you a very balanced defense because you have some long-range damage, you have the extra sustainability. Now with Batiste, you also have just a bunker setup.
Something to note here, too, is that Atlanta didn't drop a map the entire regular season, so if Phase 2 was able to bloody them and get a map here, it'd still be making a bit of history for how the season has gone down.
Now, it wouldn't have been them dropping a map in regular season, but still dropping a map in a Contenders, which is huge. Phase 2 looking for the entry. 5-man ante for Kodak, as Phase 2 are just trying to come back in. They have made it, though, through the flank, which is the hardest part. Just getting through the choke and making it into the flank. Now they can enter the point in a little bit better position.
Well, again, we've entered the tower defense part of the game here, where you stop Phase 2 from getting over to the point. But the composition that's main goal is simply them bully their way over to the point. Kodak, support from the back, Sugar Free, again, striking early. Gets left out of the fight, Saucy. More success on the Mei here so far. And Kodak, great position in the Ana. There's just no threat to him whatsoever.
And there's absolutely nothing that can give him any threat at all. Unless Pika decides to go push him, unless someone from Phase 2 decides to go push him. But if they go push him, then they're ignoring the frontline presence for Atlanta.
Sugar's already built a dragon.
Yes, Astra's built into Ant Matrix as well. Kodak getting close to a Nano, so a lot of bolts already coming up here for Atlanta. And when Phase 2 are looking into it, I would not be surprised for Astra just to drop the Ant Matrix early and just look to shred the shield and try to catch Phase 2.
Astro with the pickoff gets the Reaper, and
no Ant Matrix required either.
No. And you know, Astro has a reputation for, well, yeah, this guy's really good on Lucio, but he can do anything on other heroes, and you know, we haven't seen a whole lot of Batiste pickoffs here today, and that was just one of them.
Phase 2 going to reset here, going to come back in. Still pretty low on ults overall. They did not get a lot of damage, did not even get very much done on their first entry. See them now make the crossing here to the right side. Atlanta going to drop the Dragon in the room.
And the Dragon going to eat well, takes down the Moira immediately. And Phase 2 find themselves in an increasingly large bind here, and even Sugar Free falling. Fight's still in a good spot so long as they gain A10 sooner rather than later. A10 coming in off the flank, that was dangerous. Astro saw his life flash before his eyes, and they're able to deal with it just in the nick of time.
And despite Phase 2, I mean, they lost Nishik early, but they're still in an okay position because Hawk fell. They get the freeze on him, but Astro put that immortality field on him, denies the cleanup. They're all getting tanked. Atlanta about to have 6 ults here again. Sugar Free about to have another Dragon. Phase 2 just now getting to their ult bank, and it's already been 2.5 minutes on the clock.
Saucy in danger. Saucy got pulled to the side. Atlanta's gonna have to collapse around that front of the wall just to save Saucy's life here. They don't save Saucy's life. The Blizzard doesn't come out. However, Phase 2 is pretty heavily flat. Nano Boost gonna go out the wall, block out Sugar Free, but guess what? 5 walls, takes those, goes the other way, takes the Pilot Diva down. Still looking for a little bit more. Risa heavily wounded. Astro continues to clean up. And correct me if I'm wrong, this by far has to be the most elimination we've seen on Batiste. So far.
It's getting close to Contenders. Though left, gonna find Astro. They're gonna commit the beat. The fight is not over. They're deciding to go forward.
They're still attempting it as we move forward. You see Hawk a little bit of danger. Hawk about to get frozen out. That's the D-Mac. So Atlanta find themselves a little bit wounded. Now Saucy is gonna be coming back over to the point. Has Blizzard, so they can drop Blizzard to buy time for response. Phase 2. Final 23 seconds to go. Hawk ends up falling. Saucy drops the Blizzard. Sugar Free in danger. Needs to back on up. Gator continuing to hold down the fort while this happens, but A10 and Nishik doing work in Phase 2. I've done it.
They have. They've broken the hold now. It was a very long hold for Atlanta, but the spawn advantage coming into play there for Phase 2. I have to commend Let for doing the beat there. I think it was a risky beat, but they saw the chance to take the fight. They saw they were still in a good position to win it, and by investing the beat there, they were able to stay in, wait for their spawners, and continue to push the fight towards the point.
Nope. Phase 2, they get through point A at the last possible moment. 2 minutes and 45 seconds left to get into B, and fully swapping now to Mei Reaper.
They're going to go to that full May Reaper. They're going to go back to the attack. Is Atlanta, though, look at their ult bank here again. About to have double support ult. They're about to have 5 ults on the board. You see an early Dragon for Sugar Free. There's the Supercharger for Gator.
Dragon, pretty early. Now we're going to see the Nano out. Sugar Free. The Nano Hanzo once more. Hawk deals with his counterpart. Sugar Free still working the outskirts. Finds left. Atlanta takes the fight pretty easily. Also, I think the Dragon was in the UI bugged a little bit, but that Dragon was gone.
I did not really see it myself, but it does not really matter because Atlanta, they've held. They've held here. They did have to use double support ult, though. They've had to use Supercharger. So a lot of important ults burn. But Matrix and Amplification Matrix Force Money Astro is a very cheap ult to get. I think now this is the chance for FaZe 2 to try to push it. They have the Blizzard. They know they have the Blizzard. They're getting close to a Supercharger. You take the fight aggressively, try to force some of these cooldowns out, look to set up Socks.
Kodak just practicing the squats right now. We're seeing there, back and forth, early halt. Heavy support damage going out. Sugar Free takes down the Reaper. Hawk devouring up and over. And he ate the Blizzard. That's what we just saw there. The Blizzard was eaten midway through, so they're not going to get any value off the Blizzard. Sugar Free going on forward, and what a play in Atlanta.
FaZe 2 not finding success against this. I mean, you see how Atlanta are playing. They're playing Astro and Kodak and even Sugar Free to an extent because he can just run away. Their angles are so far away that they're taking an incredible amount of damage or not denying any of the utility or the value for the backline for Atlanta, and they're just trying to consistently walk in and isolate the front line, but the front line's really hard to isolate.
I think one thing we're noticing here too, and I think the views have helped for it, but we're seeing really consistent damage coming from the sports. We talked a lot about Astro, but Kodak was lighting things up after the halt. The tanks and supports for Atlanta are just more lethal than the average right now.
Atlanta has 6 ults in the bank here. There's the early Ant Matrix for Astro. They're trying to break the shield. Can they halt anyone to the Dragon? The answer looks like no. So 2 ults gone. This is final fight now for FaZe 2. They have to commit. They will not really have another recontest. Still have to walk into Saucy's Blizzard and Gator Supercharger.
It's not easy. It's not that much. Fountain might be eaten, but FaZe 2. Buying their time, they're going to move on forward. Coalescence used early. Hawk with the bomb. Not quite going to end the fight. Saucy, though, still hanging on. The Blizzard Reserve. Sugar Free looking for pickoffs. Finds the May. The Sonic Arrow of all things. Back the other way. Finishes off what was initially frozen. It's 4 pickoffs from Sugar Free, but the cold certainly helped.
Gotta drop a quick emote. Yeah, gotta drop the quick emote. Sugar Free's Hanzo has been a little inspirational so far. He's playing the distance. They're using him as the nano target often. Because when you have that nano Stormbow, you can shred targets incredibly quick. And notice how for Atlanta, they did not use the Blizzard until after all those cooldowns, after the ults have been used in Force for FaZe 2, because then your Blizzard is free and just put Sugar Free in a great position to pop off.
And for Sugar Free, you say the word inspirational, and I just think back to where his DPS heroes used to be. The last time we got to see him play DPS heroes and contenders, where you have to go back, I think, to the L&L days before Brigida became a constant thing. But now, I feel like he's evolved since then. Even though we haven't been seeing more playtime in DPS heroes, what he's been doing on the Hanzo has been tremendous here so far, and it was part of the reason, like I was saying before, going the 2-2-2, I think Atlanta was one of the teams you had to worry about least, just because you look at their personnel, they were weaker, I think, in 3-3 than they will be now.
So Atlanta now going to be on the offense. All they have to do to win this map is get 1 tick on last. Don't even have to full cap. FaZe 2 obviously looking for a first hold. Would like to have a first hold to win the map. Then if not, the draw is just as fine, because in the first to 3 draws are not that important, or they're really not that bad, because it just pretty much cancels out the map. It means, okay, go next. And with FaZe 2 playing this Widow May, it means that they have a lot of the utility for pickoffs between the Halt Hook, between A10 on the Widow, along with that long-range damage, but they still have the utility to survive a dive with the Batiste, with the May. A lot of flexibility with this comp for FaZe 2.
Looking for the early pickoff is A10. Not going to connect. However, the Widow might make Sugar Free reconsider here in the Pharah. I think that might be what's happening. A little bit of indecision here in the Atlanta camp, and you know what? It's not broke. No need to fix it. Coming out here with the Hanzo.
And I like the swap still, because overall I think Hanzo currently still is the most well-rounded DPS character in terms of all the utility, all the damage you can do along with the individual pickoffs. And Atlanta, they're just fine to play Shield War. Pika's on Hog. There's no Diva Matrix. There's no stop for that. A10, while on the Widow, is only looking for picks. He can't really directly trade Shield. So Atlanta don't have to fear. They can walk in, and as long as they're just out of the sidelines for A10, and they're not getting all hooked, they're just winning Shield War.
Free looking pressure on the top. A10 down, caught by Kodak. Now they don't have to worry about the Widow threat for quite a while. They drop the wall for a little bit of presence. And Atlanta, surprisingly not going all the way around right now, kind of taking the low ground, the high ground fight. It's not the most advisable position. Ult comes on in, they're looking for the cleanup off it. Sugar Free though, firing on back. He goes up the stairs, he picks up another two. Sugar Free diving on in once more. Pika though brings it back the other way. Or now, he looks to Mr. Stability here for Atlanta. It's Gator.
It's Gator and Baby Hawk versus the world. He is out of the mech. The shield's gonna keep him alive, actually.
Oh, well, no, not
but he does
forever.
not get back into mech, though. He does not get back into mech, sadly. It's Gator versus the world, though.
Power he gets from his socks with sandals. Can't be stopped.
He is like he's getting healed now, so Atlanta with the better spawn advantage, gonna make it to the point now. Phase 2, it is possible for them to recontest. If they do decide to do that, if they want to commit here, they're gonna have doubles of portal, they're gonna have Blizzard, they definitely have some ults in the bank, but it looks like they're way too far away.
So Atlanta's gonna have so much
They're
time.
gonna take the fight here. They're taking the fight here,
Why?
CP.
They could get snowballed so hard.
This is
Phase
risky.
2, you gotta get out of here. This is not where you want to be. So they're trading out here. It's slightly working, but man, the risk versus reward is so tilted towards Atlanta. And still, Salt Shaker's gonna jump on over. I don't think Atlanta can rush on through because Hawk fell off, but that was a big risk for Phase 2. Although, I guess when you have 4.5 minutes left, you kind of have to take those.
Paid off. It paid off. And I mean, even though they lost some people there at the end, they took some time off the clock. They pulled up towards some ults. But we're getting close to 5 ults for Atlanta. About to be 6 ults for Phase 2. So a huge ult fight about to take place. And while Astro does not have the Amp Matrix, Phase 2 does. So I feel like they should recognize that. They should know that Astro committed it there on the first. And not be afraid to pop it early just to win this fight once it lands.
Supercharger down, Sugar Free. The dragon through the wall. Force out the Transcendence, Amp Matrix, Supercharger. A lot of damage posturing here for Atlanta Academy. Or for Phase 2, but Sugar Free again, still alive. The one person they need the fall does not. Orty with 2. Going back the other way, looking for the May. Can't find the head. And Atlanta, they're in trouble. Phase 2. Strong presence on the point, forcing Astro out. Astro looking for anything, doesn't find it. Phase 2, gonna hold.
The deadly duo of the Amp Matrix plus Supercharger there for Phase 2 means that even though Atlanta had ults up, they just get burnt so quickly. They get burnt so incredibly quickly. They got burnt through there because of the double ult usage. Is Phase 2 now swapping A10 onto the Bastion, putting Nishik onto the Ana here, so they're going to rather just play this comp that we used to see a lot before, haven't seen as much now in Paris. Going to play the actual bunker, play tight, protect the president.
Well, I also like the entire idea here that you just change the looks that Atlanta sees. You can defend this push with Bastion, maybe change it to something else after. Immortality field down. And the whole hog, Atlanta. Wounded, but not out of this push yet. They're going to get the opportunity to heal back up, have decent positioning, and there's a little bit rough for Phase 2. They're going to need to reposition this Bastion soon.
Still though, Phase 2, they're in the fight. Pika getting isolated, getting caught. He's gonna chase down, but he'll live. Great heals, great immortality field, and with the Amp Matrix now, how does Atlanta finish this fight? The answer is they don't.
No, they absolutely do not. Take it down at the very end. And right now, if I'm A10, I swap once more. I continue throwing different looks at Atlanta. I think that's the only chance they have of making this a draw.
Careful now, because if Phase 2 get rolled over on this map, that soundbite's gonna come out. They're gonna say, if I'm A10, I continue throwing. They're going to clip that soundbite because he's on the Bastion. But I think the Bastion's actually still fine, ZP.
No, I mean, it's still winnable at the Bastion. It's just, now you're giving Atlanta time to shot call and really plan around this, where before it was a bit of a surprise. It came as a shock. It was a late change.
I think, if anything, it's really a battle of divas right now. It's a battle of divas because Hawk, if he doesn't deny Sock's Blizzard, then Phase 2 survive this again. They build up their nulls. But if Hawk not only denies the Blizzard and also puts the bomb in a great position, then the bomb is the thing to break this bunker.
Really, really bad for Phase 2. They drop a Supercharger Immortality field. They get nothing. Atlanta uses the unstoppable technique, which is known as step away and hide behind the wall.
It's Hawk's time to shine as well. There's no immortality build, there's no nano, there's no defensive to really deny his value, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to bomb.
On his face, the pressure from all angles. Sugarfree though falls. Caught by Pika. Pika in the right place at the right time. Neutralizes the Reaper. Excellent rotation in phase 2. They fight their way out of it again.
And remember I talked about it, it's the battle of the divas for that upcoming fight that we just had. Hawk, he sees the opportunity, but the bomb comes out a little late, honestly. They were still hiding. It's not totally his fault, really, because they were hiding from all that damage. But the immortality flip comes back up again for Lep, keeps everyone alive, and then not only does Pika deny that value for the Blossom, but the bomb gets nothing in return.
Now note, this still counts as a blemish on Atlanta's record if they're unable to get through here, where they had all map wins. It's not a loss, but it wouldn't be a win.
No Blizzard for Sox, though. No Supercharger for Salt Shaker. So, and still, Pika does not have that bomb just yet. So it's Atlanta's last fight here. This is last fight. This is also their best opening, considering they can have the beat to engage. They can look to just rush down Pika and put the Blizzard into a good scenario. I wouldn't be surprised to see a beat, a Supercharger, and try to focus Pika. But they don't touch! They don't, where's the touch?
Oh! I wasn't, that was a jump scare.
Okay.
What?
Phase 2.
What?
Phase 2 alert. Phase 2.
Oh.
There is a point to contest phase 2. Atlanta just take the opening and they put the wall in front of them when the amp comes out and they just can't touch point. The wall literally walled off every single person. They weren't split enough to touch the point. Atlanta, they just did the most simple checkmate I've ever seen.
I don't even know what to say. I'm just saying here. It happens.
It's like a move where you like box yourself in with your own pieces and then lose because not a single member of a phase 2 was split. They were expecting a push. They were expecting Atlanta's just gonna walk into us again, and then Atlanta's like, wait, we can just test on the point and wall you because you're not split, and that's exactly what they do.
Unbelievable. Good game sense, and phase 2 so close yet so far at the end of all ways to fall. Well, while they reconsider it, while I reconsider and put myself back together, we're going to take a break. Atlanta up 2-0 at the half.